I'll get people talking, won't it? Now, it has been providing essential transport to those in rural Essex for more than 35 years, but the Coggeshall Community Bus is facing big challenges.
Yes, not only is it becoming harder to find people in the town willing to give up their time to drive it, but EU legislation could mean that they will need professional training in the future as well.
Well, those running the not-for-profit service say that would not only be costly, but is likely to mean fewer volunteers come forward, as Russell Hookey reports.
It's commuting Coggeshall style. For 36 years, this community-run bus has enabled those living in this part of the Essex countryside to get to the capital.
It was late 70s and some very enterprising local people, including people on the council, parish council, realised that there was a need for communication between here and the station, the nearest station at Kelvedon. It must be hundreds of people have been involved over that period as drivers and other volunteers running the background.
Passenger numbers are growing, partly down to the £1 fare.
I wouldn't be able to get to Kelvedon station if it wasn't for the community bus. I don't have a car. I choose not to have a car because we have the community bus.
We moved out here 14 years ago. One of the reasons was that we heard about the community bus, so we never have to pay the charges at the car park.
Driving the bus often means juggling family life or other jobs and a very early start.
I mean, I used to be a passenger when my partner Andy and I first moved to Coggeshall 10.5 years ago. I used to get the bus, and jokingly he always used to say, "Oh, well, you're a passenger, one day you'll have to drive it, give something back." And now I work from home part-time as a freelance PA, and therefore I've got the time to do something like this.
Over the years, hundreds of local people have come forward to drive the Coggeshall Community Bus. But finding new drivers isn't the only challenge it faces. Legislation is always changing, and the bus operators need to stay one step ahead of that.
In 2009 there was a European regulation, and the Department for Transport has interpreted that over the years since in a quite favourable way for community transport operators like ourselves. There has been a challenge in court, and since when the government, the department, has had to rethink its interpretation. It is very serious stuff.
The Department for Transport has told us some community transport operators may need to ensure they and their drivers have professional licences, especially if they compete for commercial contracts. We're currently consulting on how community transport has evolved and how organisations can be helped in the future. Those running the Coggeshall Community Bus say its services couldn't be run commercially though. They include taking older people in the town to the supermarket and the doctor's surgery.
Morning. If you can get this bus to take you down and bring you back, it's wonderful.
I use it for shopping and going to, and the driver puts your prescriptions in, and well, we'd be lost without it.
For almost 4 decades, residents in this small town have pulled together to fill a gap in their transport needs. The hope is that Cog 1 continues to run for many years to come. Russell Hookey, ITV News, Coggeshall in Essex.